Nvidia is set to report earnings today, February 25th after the close. Now, normally, looking at a stock like Nvidia, I'd also look at the S&P 500 stocks that are reporting earnings on the same day. And I've now actually decided to include this in my newest, best, most powerful version of my Skinny and the Mini ES Futures report in my brand new service, the ES Futures Outlook. So right now, for founding members, for just $37 a month, you can go ahead and get this report and a few other resources. So this is the first edition I published today. My actual ES research, just like I would set things up before I begin trading. And what I put is this section about what stocks are reporting. So there were 3 before the open, and then Nvidia and others are going to be after the close. Now here's the thing. Nvidia is the largest component of the S&P 500. So I actually don't want to look at these other stocks today. I want to look at Nvidia plus the 4 other stocks behind it that make up the biggest part of the S&P. All right. So we're going to take a look at those on my TradeStation charts, looking at price action, market timing, and momentum, because I'm HEMA ready and that's what I do. If you're interested in being able to access my research for the best possible price here at the founding member level, you can go ahead and check the links below this video or stay to the end for more information. All right. So here's that chart of Nvidia. And I've already gone ahead and done some analysis and marked it up, because here was what was cool. Yesterday, during my weekly trading show, Ticker Request Live, so after the close on February 24th, I said, look, based on the technical analysis, including Gann astrology principles, I believe it's finally time for this stock to break above this 195, 196 barrier that's been capturing it, right? And it's happening, folks. It's unraveling in front of your eyes here today. Now, this candle's only halfway done. There's about 4 more hours of trading left, so let's see what the targets would be. If it continues higher, then not necessarily today, but over the next few days, possibly fueled by the earnings release, the next upside target would be 201.81. That's the price component of a forecast for which the time aspect has surpassed, okay? But the price aspect is still valid. And then after that, if Nvidia is able to push higher, and again, if it's doing so incrementally, 204.78, 208.49, and 212.19. Now, this is all while we stay above the February 17th low. While that's intact, I expect further upside. If the shares instead trade back below that February 17th low, I'd watch out to return back towards the September 5th range low. Now you might be wondering, how do I know what are the S&P 500 top-weighted stocks? Well, this website, Slick Charts, it's something I found, it's free. It has a list here. So Nvidia is top, it's 7.63% of the S&P. Then there's Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. So we're going to look at those in order. Okay, Apple is still recovering higher off of the January 20th low, attempting to extend that with the moves off of the February 13th low here. And it's got a forecast that I can draw. But keep in mind, the forecast I'm about to show you does require it to make new highs above the December 3rd high. Okay, so the forecast, while the low from February 13th stays intact, is for shares of Apple to trade up to 290, 294 by March 5th. So again, if you want to deploy forecasting in your trading, I teach that in my loss forecasting trading system. I'm just showing you the result of the forecast here. All right, let's move to the next stock. Okay, Microsoft, nearly 5% of the S&P, 4.7% to be exact. So it has been somewhat beaten up, if you will. It's a high price stock, but still been pushed lower significantly since late October. Most recently, the high to monitor is here from February 10th. And if we start to expand out these bars a bit, you can see that we're returning back to a very important weekly chart range from April of 2025. Anyone remember the tariff announcements? Yeah, it still has an impact on today's trading levels. So we're back to those areas. The middle of that weekly bar, so what you're seeing here, these dashed lines represents weekly analysis transposed to a daily chart, is 369.01. I think there's a chance that Microsoft still trades lower. However, right now it is exhibiting a bull-bear RSI face-off, indicating a defensive move. So if you're short, you might want to be looking to protect your short positions and capture profits. And the next hint would be if it traded above the February 19th high. So the February 19th high is close by, okay? So we'll zoom in more. And I would expect slightly more upside if we get above it, but the high from February 10th is what's really shaping the downtrend. All right, here's Amazon. So it had a gap and there's a trend line that is shaping the higher part of that gap. There are actually 2 gaps down. And right now we're still recovering off of the low from February 17th. So what I'm seeing here is that the shares have to get above the February 9th high to get me excited for a stronger retracement, possibly looking at returning to 222. That would be half of the move down since January 12th. And if it's able to get above there, great. We'll return to this trend line, wherever it's landing at the time. But if it's not able to clear this February 9th high, then I would watch out for a push down towards these important long-term levels. So these levels I came up with probably in a previous YouTube video or live in front of you during my weekly trading show, Ticker Request Live. So that's why I'm staying in the same chart, so that I can be consistent between free analysis at Ticker Request Live, free YouTube videos, and stay true to my analysis. All right, one more stock for you. All right, here's Alphabet, ticker GOOGL. So this guy fell into February 17th. Notice that's like the third time I've mentioned that date. It was key turning point in multiple of these tech stocks, right? And the low it threatened was from December 17th. And now we can see that it actually held above it. So the low in December was 296.12. The low in February was 296.25. So super close, but not lower. So if we zoom in close, what does this mean for the current recovery? Well, it kind of has some room to maybe go, but I don't know how much upside. The first thing I'd expect is a pause around the 50% retracement of the fall from February 3rd. So that's 322.63. If you can get above that, then maybe it journeys back to that February 3rd range. So that's my look at Nvidia and the other top 4 S&P 500 components. As promised, if you want to know a little bit more about what I'm sharing in my ES Futures Outlook, here you go. We just talked about Nvidia, like literally just landed on that stock. Nvidia is the largest component of the S&P 500. The S&P 500 influences nearly everything. It means the economic indicator for the US economy, and a lot of action is built around it. A lot of securities are built around it. And frankly, watching the S&P is just getting a sense of the market overall. So I want to ask you, would you like my take on the broad market, the S&P, the morning before Nvidia earnings comes out? Would you like it the morning after State of Union tonight? Would you like it the day after Nvidia earnings comes out and before the next economic report and the next jobs data? Would you like to know more about how you could get that? Just type a YES in the chat. I'm only going to talk about this if you guys are interested. Okay. Because Ticker Request Live is great, right? We've proven this here. You come here, I gave you my take on your tickers, but it's once a week because that's what it is. But if you want to know what I think of the market every single day that I sit down to trade, awesome. I'm seeing lots of yes fly through, so let me show you. So this is super simple, okay? What happens is most traders, they make their decisions around 9:30, okay? And if you don't have the preparation in motion to get ahead of the markets before that 9:30 open, what happens? What you see here, reacting to like the first push, right? Whatever happened after economic data, whatever happens at the open, or forming opinions in real time instead of coming in with your game plan, or interpreting the price as it moves, okay? So I don't have very elaborate slides here, and it's really just going to be for a few minutes, but I'm going to just turn off my screen and bring the chat to me, and we're going to go from there, okay? All right. So what you need to know is that this is not how I approach it. Before 9:30, I come in with my own declared directional outlook. Like, I'm not married to it, but I'm confident based on my analysis of what I think the market's going to do. It's based on technical reasoning, all the same techniques I teach you guys: price action, market timing, momentum. And it has a defined support and resistance panel. I don't just look at the next one level out or two like we did here in Ticker Request Live. I look at 3, 4, 5, 10 levels out so that I'm prepared if the market action unfolds. And more importantly, I have an alternate scenario because I don't have a crystal ball, right? So even if I have an outlook, a clear like idea, hypothesis of what's going to happen, I'm still prepared for the other side of the coin. Now, what we're going to do here is make my life simpler for a variety of reasons. And I am going to be opening access in a new form. This is going to be the simplest way I've ever shared my pre-market briefing. So type away in the chat if this is something you're interested in. Okay. So I'm going to kind of show and tell as I do this. So I've had a report known for a very long time called the Skinny on the Mini. This has come in a variety of forms, and as of today, it's going to be in what I'm calling my ES Futures Outlook, okay? So I have been writing this, sharing it with people for 26 plus years, but I actually started it before that. I write it before every ES session that I sit to trade. And again, it was previously either like private to only certain people or bundled and other stuff. And now we're just simplifying and making it standalone. So what is inside each report? Well, here's words, but words are not that fun. Would you like to see today's report? Exactly what you would get if you were getting this kind of briefing from me? Type of Y in the chat. Okay. I don't usually show this way, but I was just like, I'm just going to show them what they're going to get if they decide they want to have this in their pocket. Okay. So I'm going to go over in the Experienceify portal here for a moment. So you all are familiar with this probably because of your ebooks or your 4 zones or anything like that. So if you look, there's now something new. It's called the ES Futures Outlook. Now you won't have it accessible on your panel unless you decide to join, which I'll tell you in a minute what your options are. But if you do have it, and I hope some folks have joined us here today, welcome. This is what it looks like. Now I've zoomed out to make it easy to read. Yours won't look all gigantic like this, okay? Here's today's report that I wrote. It's under the Skinny ES report section. And here it is, Tuesday, February 24th, okay? The report is very simple. I'm going to give you a high-level overview. It starts with my annotated chart. This is a very, very marked up chart, but it's easy to read. It's everything that I'm looking at on price action, market timing, and momentum. And it's out on the chart. This is literally the same chart that I will use to then go do the rest of my trading prep. The chart also has an ability to be expanded to full size. That's explained inside the report. Now, 2 things I do that a lot of people don't is I make myself accountable to what I said the day before. This is prior commentary, and I recap what actually happened. So I'm literally forcing myself to look at what did I think was going to happen the last time I sat to trade and what actually unfolded. Then I have my outlook. It's not super long. You can read this whole thing in a few minutes, especially once you learn how to interpret it. But it's very clear of what I think is going to directionally happen and the alternate scenario, okay? So the outlook is blah, blah, blah. If instead, yada, yada, yada. Then I have my key levels panel, and this is updated every single day. And then I have more awesome, juicy stuff that I won't even get into now. It's all in there. I've got economic data that I'm watching. I've got trend lines and more. And then there's steps on actually how to deploy the report down below. So that's it. That's what it is. So I hope you enjoyed seeing it physically instead of me just being on this slide here. Type of Y if that was helpful. Like literally seeing what today's report was to get the idea of the structure. Okay. So let me be clear about what this is not, okay? This is not an alert service. You're not going to receive entries, stops, or buy now notifications. It's not a chat room. I talked about this for a couple weeks now. I have dental and jaw issues I'm dealing with. I actually should be talking less than I am, not more. So that's not part of this. But what it is my consistently formatted pre-market briefing. The same format, same, so you can use it over and over. You review it before the session, looking at my outlook, my levels, my technical reasoning. You make your own decisions about your trading. And this distinction is really important because it's not about dependency. I'm trying to teach you how to prepare. I even have resources in there that show you how you can look at the markets to write your own style report that way. So who is this for? This is for traders who want preparation help before 9:30 in the morning, whether you trade the E-mini S&P futures or S&P instruments directly or not. If you want to know what's my take on the market, this is it. This is for traders who already analyze, but you value comparison, right? Seeing what your teacher, your mentor, your guide is seeing as well. It's got clearly defined levels. Every single one of them is explained, and there are no holds barred. Let me be clear. I've had past versions of this report where I hid the analysis or didn't show the forecast or didn't name the Gann pattern. I don't do any of that here. I don't have time for that. I'm writing this for my own research and use. I share everything there. And it's for traders who value consistency, okay? So I will be writing it when I sit to trade, and I'll talk more about that cadence in a moment. Again, it's not for you if you're looking for buy here, sell here, or if you want me to trade for you, that's not what this is about. So what is included in the ES Futures Outlook service? It's very straightforward. It's all on one slide. First, you have the skinny and the mini reports. I just showed you those, okay? Now, I commit to writing 3 mornings a week, but pretty generally, I write every single trading day, unless I'm traveling or on vacation or I'm sick, which isn't that often. It's just, I love this market and I love being on top of it. And so I will write and publish. You will get an email where with one click, you'll have the report open in your portal. We've updated the ways to do this so you have no delay. The moment I publish my report for myself, you get your version in 2 minutes flat. So there's no delay. There's no, oh, I got to go find it on Substack. Blah. No. The email's in your inbox within 2 minutes of me finishing the report with one link to click to get to it. Type of Y if that sounds good, right? We all need time in the morning to prepare our trading. Nobody wants to wait around. Great. There's also going to be just a handful of quick start tutorial videos, just so you get used to using the report, so I can go a little bit deeper on what I did today. And then there's something really cool. It's the Trader's Living Glossary. So let me show you that because it's otherwise hard to explain. So it's right here, okay? I've built this up over a couple of years now. This is a living glossary in that I will update it regularly, but it's got 99.9% of the terminology and terms that I use in the report. So it's alphabetical, so you can always go coming in and looking for what you need. And if there's anything that's ever partially defined, but has more reference material in another course of mine, I'll tell you exactly where it is if you want to dive deeper, okay? So this has been super helpful for traders to not only get my take on the market, but improve their learning and understanding. So why am I doing this now? This year, 2026, marks 10 years in business. Can you believe it? And I'm turning 47. Well, I turned 47 on February 15th. And I sat and I looked at everything and I was like, you know what? I want to go simpler. I want to go simpler and bring back to the core of what I do. So I'm opening this standalone access with those 3 elements you saw for a ridiculously special price. 47 and 10 makes this $37 a month. So if you're interested, then you can join as a founding member. This is available at this rate through Saturday, February 28th. When my birthday month is over, this is gone and you will never see $37 a month again. And there's no risk. 30-day money back guaranteed, cancel or refund, honestly. You sign up, you try it, HemaReady.com/ES Futures. My team will put the link in the chat. And if it's not for you and you don't get it, you don't understand it, then you will be able to write into us and you can refund and we'll part as friends. You can cancel anytime as well. It is $37 per month. And again, I write the reports every time I sit to trade, which is pretty much every trading day. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the chat. And I look forward to seeing even more of you than those who joined in the ES Futures Outlook. So do you have a course on how to trade futures, like total basics? So actually, Aisha, I think your name is, I'm going to put I have these little mini courses I used to have, like facts on futures and stuff, and I'm probably going to put that as bonus material inside this. So anything I have to do with trading futures that I think would be helpful to you, I may put as bonus material, but I am not, that's not what I'm promising on delivering every day, okay? So the report comes out by 8:30 a.m. Eastern, usually sooner. I get up around 5:30 Central these days. So it is usually out between 7:30 to 8:15 Eastern. Which market does this cover? It's ES Futures, hence the name. So that's the other thing. We wanted to make this super direct so everybody understands what's going on. ES Futures Outlook, right? The Outlook is the part of the report section where I literally say what is I believe is going to happen or what I am expecting and then being prepared for it. And we have traders who translate this to other markets like SPY. We have traders who trade NASDAQ or Dow and they appreciate like the directional outlook on the broad market. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is the best way to get my take on what is about to unfold in the simplest, most affordable way I've ever offered. Okay, let me scroll back. I saw some questions there. Yes, this is what you got this morning. So there is a new portal for it. It is called the ES Futures Outlook portal. So it's the same Experienceify portal location as all your other courses and stuff. Okay? Yeah. You'll get an email that will give you a link to access it. And once you have that, then you can go ahead and log into the portal. I'm going to be building out more stuff. Like full disclosure, I would have built more tutorials this morning, but the periodontist had an opening and I have to get a tooth extracted for the whole braces business. So there's a lot going on. But because I have a flexible lifestyle, I was like, let me go do that because that's important. So I'll work on the tutorials part and you'll see them populate this week. But what I already put as a little bonus to kind of get you started is in the quick start guide, there's one thing right now. Okay. So if you go to all trainings, in the quick start guide, there is this book I wrote. It's like a 17-page ebook, but people love it. It was just a bonus for a while. It is literally what I do in my brain to write a skinny, how I write a skinny report, what I call. So you could use this if you ever want to write your own kind of version of report. Okay. So this is not my trades. This is my analysis. I go do my trading on my own. This is my thoughts on what is going to happen in the market. And we have traders who won't trade unless they read my skinny. They are that seeing that much value, especially in the levels I provide. It's very, very helpful to them. But it's not like a dependency. It's just that they're really finding value in it. And so, I'm kind of doing the work anyway. So I figure I will share it. So I'm not putting entries, exits, stops. No, I'm being very straightforward about that because also all of you are trading different things. Some of you are trading ES futures. Some of you are trading micro ES futures. Some of you are trading not ES, but kind of tangential markets like the NASDAQ and stuff. It's only the ES futures report. I'm simplifying. I used to have, and it was fine. People gave me ideas and I did them. I used to have marketers and people who would kind of help me on the business side of trading and be like, oh, throw this in there and throw this in there. And I'm like, but I don't trade that or I don't do that. And they're like, just do it. And I was like, they're like, no, but you can charge more. I'm like, yeah, but I have to do more work. I don't have as much time now. I spent 3 hours just going through this one appointment today. I was like, wow, my life is going to be different for the next 2 years probably. However, I'm not going away. I just need to change how I deliver and what I focus my energy on. So awesome. All right, let me see what other questions you guys have here. Good to see you, Anne. Anne joining us. I'm curious to see how you will implement this. I know you trade lots of different markets. And Gwen, awesome to have you. Gwen, you should know that when I was thinking about a lot of this, I was thinking about you. Gwen has been in the tribe for some time. So she's a good example to me of a trader who's just, putting in the energy and the effort. And I wanted to make things accessible for you. Okay, awesome. Yes. I can show you that in the portal again. So the glossary, the best way to use it, okay, because I use the portal too, the best way to use this is, so I'm just going to go back to regular size sort of, is like, you're like, okay, I just read this word in the report and I need to brush up on what that means. Just go alphabetical. It's not that gigantic. You can scroll, okay? You can use the search feature, but I don't like the way it pops up because it will pop up what it is, but it won't go to into the document. The only way the search feature will make this go individually is if every single word is its own training, and that would be insane. So it's better to just scroll through. Now, in sections where there's going to be a lot of verbs, so it's interesting. For the letter P, there's so many things that start with P, especially patterns and price action and price high and pre-gap and blah, blah, blah. So I just made different sections for P, so PRI, PRE, but you'll still find them, okay? So you can use this no matter what you trade. If you would like my take on the markets and you want to see the example of what you trade at work. So here's an example, okay? Let's say you're trying to bring RSI power zones into your life. Every day that I sit to trade, I will analyze the RSI power zones and you will see the full-blown chart. So like this here, it depends on how your server is set up, okay? How your platform set up. But see what I just did? I right-clicked and made this huge chart, Martin. Okay, do you see that? This is what you can do, and then you can have the report alongside as well. And you can literally, this is literally me analyzing for my own preparation. So you will see education about RSI power zones. You will see what levels I annotate. I talk about them. I talk about any patterns I'm seeing. If I have a trend line on the chart, the details are going to be down below. So you'll learn about how she's drawing trend lines as a good example. So if you're trading something else and you want to just like develop your skills, this is the fastest way to do it. I do recommend that you pay attention to the way I'm describing the levels, okay? Sometimes they'll be pattern-based and look at how I'm applying them. And again, is a bonus in here, but you can, in the quick start guide, use this ebook to use the same process to look at what you trade. So I definitely recommend that you consider doing that, because my team fought me on this. Okay. They did not love this pricing idea, but I was like, listen, I want to give the people the help I can give them for what I can do, and I need to simplify. I don't want to do more anymore unless it's the more that aligns with my lifestyle and my needs, because I am going to be dealing with inconvenient health things for a little bit. And I'm not making a big deal of it, okay? I'm fully aware that I could have way more serious issues at 47. Braces are not that big a deal, but it's kind of annoying. And it takes time. And I have to talk to all these different doctors. And now I spend my mornings like waiting for my phone to see if somebody opened up. I'm like, whoa, this is different. I need a simpler life. I want to get up, do my thing, do my morning, do my trading, come educate you folks a couple hours a week. That's it. And I'm still going to have all those sessions. This is not replacing anything else except for the previous packaging of the skinny and the mini. And those students have already been informed and they know what's coming. Okay. So everything else, First 40 Trading Club, all my courses or everything are all out there. Awesome. Welcome, Jeffrey. Good to see you join as well. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope things are going well. So for some of you, it's returning names because you got some version of this analysis from me before. Let me turn my camera on so you see I'm still here. Got some version of this before and then, parted for whatever reasons or because I changed something up. So it's nice to see some of you back here again. What if you have a question about the report? Oh, so if you have a question, you can hit reply on the email. So it's going to come from my same email. And what's going to happen in the beginning of the subject line, it'll say EFO, like ES Futures Outlook, right? The service name. And then it'll say skinny on the mini for blah, blah, blah. So tomorrow morning, when I sit to write this, it'll say bracket EFO close, skinny on the mini for Wednesday, February 25th, and it will be my analysis. And I actually have a Trading Lab session with some forecasting members tomorrow. So that's the analysis I'm going to start with. Yeah. So you'll always know. It'll always say the EFO and then the skinny subject for that report. So skinny and the mini is the name of the report. The service is called ES Futures Outlook because it has new video training that I'm going to record and put in there. And it has a library or glossary, which is already in there. Okay, awesome. Great. All right. I want to give you guys some time to get started here. I'm going to take a little break and then I'm going to go and start working on the tutorials so I can get those loaded this week so that you can be fully up and running. Now, this pricing is available until Saturday, February 28th. So I'm not going to do a whole like everything's on fire and you got to sign up right now. But if you want my report that's tomorrow morning, then you should be in by tomorrow morning. And it's 30 days, $37 per month, and you can cancel anytime. So awesome. Well, I'm excited to make my life simpler, but still provide you guys a lot of value. And I'll see you again at Ticker Request Live and other sessions that are on our events calendar. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.